a very beautiful scientific concept. It is not a concept based on any imagination or poetic fancy. It is a concept based on actual scientific methods. I will go into the Vedic scriptures, but you hear this, know the experiments made on reincarnation, especially the noted scientist, especially by the noted scientist Dr. Ian Stevenson. He had done several experiments on reincarnation, especially in India and other places of the world. And to his findings, stunningly remarked by him, he believes very firmly in the reincarnation case. One of the finest cases he reports is the sweet Premalata case. A young girl started talking about her early life, the previous life. She was probably staying about 145 kilometers from where she was born in India, and she pinpointed the name of the relatives, the place of the house, where she was living, how she was functioning, what was her previous name, how she died. A young girl probably 5-6 years of age. How an young girl can give such remarks? Dr. Ian Stevenson went to those places. He did a practical field study. He verified with those persons whom she was talking of. Everything was perfectly right. There was nothing wrong in that. Children, he says, do not tell lies. If you want to tell lies, you should have a strong memory power to keep telling the same lie every time. One has to have a very strong memory power. If it is fact which is already embedded in your memory, you can recall from your memory any time, at any place, innocently you can tell those facts, because you know that they are not lies, they are not fabricated. This is the first ground which Dr. Ian Stevenson took with him. Not only Premalata case, several such cases. He reports about 3,000 incidents, more than 2,000 in India, I presume, and in all these he found the exact correlation of data. When he did these investigations, what those people, the incarnated people, the incarnated children were telling exactly tallied when he went on to the field with investigations. He did investigations probably in various ways just to find out whether these children lie, whether these children for some purpose they are lying. But not one, but he did field studies of more than 2,000 cases. He reports and he found and he writes and he firmly believes that there is reincarnation. There is a reincarnation, there is a life which can come into a body from a previous era. He says these children are able to remember their previous lives because that energy that had left the previous body, the previous person's body, had come back immediately, say after a period of 20 or 25 years, and got itself embedded in this child's body. Therefore, the memory, the energy is fresh, it is able to correlate with its previous birth. Now, he says as the child grows, the memory gets coated with lot of other surrounding memories, factors, experiences that it is unable to think or bring back, recollect its old memories as the body ages. This is one of the reasons. There are certain souls which would be in a state of nothingness or state of renewal. They stay in the same state of renewal, neither entering a body nor trying to get a liberation by going to the seventh stage, but waiting for something. So, it may take 1,000,000 years, 2,000,000 years, 5,000,000 years, we do not know. When those memories or energies come into the body, they may not recollect the previous births, because it would be total darkness, he says. It could be total darkness. Therefore, that does not mean that that particular energy did not come for a rebirth. It comes for rebirth after a long time. After a long time means vis-a-vis the time we calculate with our body senses. Outside our body senses, in consciousness level, we cannot calculate, because they are all beyond time and space. Therefore, if you say 2,000,000 years or 3,000,000 years, it only means your calculation within this body using the 5 body senses. Therefore, those souls may not remember a previous birth, because the rebirth had occurred after a long time. Likewise, he establishes the fact. He establishes the fact thoroughly well, that he firmly believes that there is reincarnation. Now, not only Dr. Ian Stevenson, I can give you a list of Western and European doctors and scientists who have investigated in this matter, like Elizabeth Ross. There are lots of them who had gone and investigated in these matters and found and believe that there is reincarnation. There is reincarnation with our body senses. The list of doctors include Dr. Kenneth Ring, Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, Dr. Ebon, Dr. Schmeidler, and the list I can produce so on. All these doctors did produce substantial evidence on investigation that there is reincarnation. The basis of reincarnation is on several factors. The studies were conducted meticulously, scientifically, conforming to the process, conforming to scientific laws, established tenets, scientific tenets, and conclusions were arrived. Therefore, when the question of reincarnation happens, where is the question for death? It is very simple. The death people assume is a death only for the body. Nobody actually thinks there is something called an energy that has escaped. They only see the body as dying or dead. They do not see beyond that, beyond the curtains, that the body is changing its physical appearance, that there is something called energy, because as I told you earlier, the brain is tutored. The brain is tutored only to see the balls passing in the hands of players, but the brain is not tutored to see the gorilla player playing there, in spite of the fact he was 100% visibly available. Therefore, apart from this, apart from field studies, when we go into reincarnation, it is an established fact that reincarnation happens, and when reincarnation happens, where is the question of death in the common parlance which you and I understand? Absolutely there cannot be. There is one medical experiment which was done, which I would like to tell you, is Dr. Steve Vack's experiment. See, as I already told you, at the quantum level, what is quantum level? It is the microscopic, atomic, subatomic level. It is quantum. Planck's constant mean 10 to the power of 33, which you cannot simply think of, very minute level. For example, if I give you an example, if you take a string, now string is what is the smallest available, for example, at the quantum level of physics. If you take a hydrogen molecule, a hydrogen atom, and blow it to the size of our earth, this earth, you will not see the string. If you blow it to the size of a solar system, no, you cannot see. our galaxy to the size? No, you cannot see. If you blow it to the size of our universe, that means an hydrogen atom, smallest of the atoms, blown up to the size of the universe, then you will see the string the size of a small tree. That is the relationship. The string, that means at that fundamentally quantum level, they say everyone is interconnected. That is the what is known as unified field. That is what is known as the web wave field. That is what is known as the quantum field at that level. See, even in medical bodies, even in medical science, I will tell you an example, an experiment done by Dr. Steve Wax. He took, for example, a cell from my body. He takes my cell and goes about 30 miles away and cultures it in a disc. The cell grows because it is being cultured, my own cell. And you see, suppose I am in a different level of emotion, I am suppose very happy. He measures one cell of my body again through EEG, electroencephalogram, whatever they call, like your ECG, he measures and charts that electrical current in a graph sheet. And then after 30 miles he goes to my disc and they measure the same disc, the same cell cultured in that disc 30 miles away at the same time, they find both to be same. What EEG current graph sheet, what plotting of the electrical current on that sheet, graph sheet is given here actually right now from my body, the same is what is happening to my own cell cultured 30 miles away. How can this happen? In what way are we physically connected? That is what you and I and normal persons would think. But the fact is, we are connected at that quantum level. We are connected means every one of us are connected. That means we are no different from the others. Only your perception, the trickery of your brain makes it. When such being the case, how can death per se can take place when you are not able to realize that you are connected? When you are not able to know the fact that you are already connected to yourself 30 miles away, when all the electrical activity is the same for your own cell taken and done cultured 30 miles away, when there is a connection proven scientifically but not known to most of us, because we do not see any physical connection through our physical senses, that is our brain, then with what are you going to believe? With what are you going to come to a conclusion that death is final? Therefore, it is only certain that when there is an interconnectivity, when there is something which connects everyone, when an electron can move, like behave like a particle on observation and behave a wave when not observed, when it floats outside the atom as a free electron, your consciousness also does the same thing. Your consciousness floats outside your body, taking away the memory. The memory is an abstract, your own physical body. It does not want that shirt, it is going to enter into a new shirt. So, in that way, that is what Vedas, when we come next, I will explain to you all the Vedic structures, right from what they say in the Brahma Sutras, what they say in the Chandogya Upanishad, what beautifully it is explained in Gadopanishad, what beautifully it says in Kaivalyam, Prashnam and other Upanishads about these facts and other books, ancient books like Tibetan Book of the Dead. The fundamental question is, the point is, when there is an interconnectivity at the quantum level in physics as well as in medical biology, when death cannot take place, what makes you to feel that death has taken place? It is a mere trickery of your brain. In practical context, consciousness is the same. Consciousness cannot die. Your energy in your body, your life force, otherwise renamed or retermed, cannot die by itself. Your body also is not perishing as what you and I think. Time itself is an illusion. Your body only is changing its forms. I say you are dressed, but today you are dressed in a cotton shirt. Tomorrow you will be getting dressed in a terracotta shirt. The day after tomorrow you will be dressed in a khadi shirt. The point is, you are dressed. That the same way all the ancient sages and the rishis brilliantly expose this concept that death is not final in the lovely Vedic Vedas and Upanishads. In Vedas, when I come, I will just explain to you how this young boy Nachiketa talks to Yama, right from Yeyam Prete Vichikitsa Manushe, and then how Yama replies to him, Devai Ratrapi Vichikitsitam Puro. Also the gods were doubtful, and how Bhagavan Krishna says, Jatasya hi Dhruvo Mrityuhu Dhruvam Janma Mritasya, and likewise how in Chandogya Upanishad says that Purushaha, that the light comes which is Amanavaha, Purushaha is Amanavaha, that is the Purusha which comes, the person who is come is not a Manava, is an angel, is a Amanavaha, and how he leads, Gamayati, all those facts which corresponds beautifully with Dr. Brian Weiss or other people, ND experiences. I would like to explain a little bit on reincarnation. Just like in physics, I had earlier explained to you that the electron inside an atom floats out of the atom because of a mismatch in the state of energy. An electron is always negatively charged and a positron is always positively charged inside an atom. But when the electron slowly starts shifting its state and absorbing more light, it can come to zero energy level, zero electron volts. At that time it becomes a positron. So it leaves the atom and goes to another atom. In the same way is the consciousness. It leaves one body and goes to another body. It is a well set law in physics, absolutely well set, there is no further doubt on that. Now also psychologists have tested reincarnation, apart from Dr. Ian Stevenson and his other fellow doctors who had conducted various field studies as explained by me in earlier episodes. Psychologists in modern time, especially I noted from University of Virginia and other American and UK universities, use what is known as regression methods to regress into past lives of the patients for curing, for healing mental illnesses. Here Dr. Brian Weiss talks about his patient called Catherine, renamed as Catherine in his book Many Masters, Many Lives, and also Same Soul, Many Bodies. When he does the regression, the patient goes back into the past lives, and in this case specifically, the patient is able to remember she had undergone 86 lives, and she very clearly remembers 11 to 12 of her lives. Now they use what is known as a statistical tool, a psychological tool called regression. So regression is basically from statistics, where you go back and back. For example, if I am going to use regression on a patient, I would ask the patient, to think about deeply about yesterday what happened, to pick up the memory, day before yesterday, last week, 10 days back, 6 months back, a year back, also certain important instances in their life, like their marriage dates, what happened, like their school days, what happened, like their getting into an office, an employment. Then I would ask them to go deeply into those instances. For example, if it is a marriage day, right from morning 6 o'clock to evening 6 o'clock, what happened? Or if it is a education, if it is a school admission day, what happened on that particular day? Intensely going on that date. In this way, regression is developed over a period of time. And then you would come back, and then I would come back probably to the second or third year of that patient's life. The third year, the first time the patient was admitted, the subject I would call, the subject was admitted into the school. What happened on the first day, very first day, when he or she joined their play school? Whether they can remember morning to evening. Likewise, you regress back till a point of time, till the subject is 2 years old, they may not remember at all. It will be total darkness. It is here we try to use what is known as a meditation tool to pierce the darkness, go back probably the day he or she were in their mother's womb, and then cut and pierce through that wall so that they go beautifully into the previous lives. It is just like in physics, what did physicists do to measure the age of the universe? They say the age of the universe is 13.72 billion years plus or minus 0.59. What is a billion? 100 crores. What is a light year? Light which travels in a year 365.2 days. What is the distance it travels? It travels 300,000 kilometers per second, multiplied by 60 seconds, multiplied by 60 minutes, multiplied by 24 hours, multiplied by 365.25 days. So that is the distance it travels in 1 year. So we call it as a 1 light year. Therefore, if physicists say that light has travelled 13.72 billion light years, means 1372 crore light years, means the distance in kilometers it would have travelled, calculating on this basis. Now, how did they do was, they measured the light, the speed of the light, they had the speed of the light. But if you notice, after the Big Bang, when the infinite dot exploded, for the first 380,000 years, it was total darkness, black, absolute darkness, no light was there. Then how did they measure? They used what is known as the radio waves. The radio waves are the longest wave. It starts from probably 100 millimeters to 10,000 kilometers a wave. It's a length, it's the longest wave. They used radio waves to pierce and go back to that Big Bang instance. That is 380,000 years they mentioned was a period of total darkness. In the same way, you can regress back, say up to your second year of your birth in this world. After that, there would be a period of darkness. So you have to use some other tool, a meditation tool, influencing some cosmic energies to get you back, or by constant meditation practice, there are several techniques, you can get back to your earlier lives. And most of the subjects have get back. That's how Catherine got back to her previous life and narrated. See, in that reincarnation episode, it was found that the patient again, as soon as they leave the body, they float over the body. As I told you earlier, they go into the light, a area full of light, a realm of light, discussed beautifully in our Upanishads. Again, I will come back to that. They go, they are led by a very big sage. It seems there are 7 stages, as I told you earlier. The second stage is the stage of the sages. It's a Rishi Loka. We have Rishi Loka, Pitru Loka, Deva Loka and all in our Upanishads. Bhur, Bhuva, Suva, Maha, Jana, Tapa, Ohum, Satyam. There are 7 lokas. So the 7th stage is a final stage where there is absolute bliss, where we call it Satya Loka, the stage of Brahma, Paramatma. That is how the patient Catherine beautifully reveals. And then for a spirit also, it has what is known as the renewal stage, a learning stage and a decision stage. Just like we have the infant, the adolescence and the adult, the spirit also appears, she says, the patient says in her regression. And the soul decides on which body it has to enter for its own purification. For its own evolution, the soul decides so that it can migrate from one stage to the other. Just like the electron inside an atom upgrades itself from n is equal to first stage, where it requires a very little energy, a negative energy of 13.6 electron volts. When it shifts to the next n equals 2, it absorbs more of photons, more of light, so that it requires only minus 3.4 electron volts. Suppose it comes to the 5th stage, it requires only minus 0.54 electron volts. It has absorbed more light, more energy. It is away from the nucleus. It is away from the gravity power of the nucleus. In the same way, it seems the soul migrates from one level to the other. and goes finally, its ambition is to go probably to the 7th stage for merging itself in total bliss, that is called the Satyaloka. So, the patient reveals in a regression the secrets of afterlife death in the modern world. And there are stages where I told you earlier, the learning stage, then they have the spiritual, the learning stage after the renewal stage. The renewal stage is the stage where the soul occupies without entering a new body. It's a renewal stage. It can take time. In that time we do not know the realm of the time, but it can take time. And then it has what is known as a learning stage. It learns how to evolve itself, what is the right pattern of evolution for its own benefit.